There is a fifth dimension beyond what is known to man. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You've just crossed over into the box score zone.
Thanks.
What's the matter? All those free college T-shirts weighing you down? You couldn't head over to the printer and get your own stuff?
I just thought you could print it out for me. I mean, I'm kind of busy up here, don't mind.
You just thought what?
I'm printing out some thing.
Exactly.
That's why it bothers me. I'm just trying to work on the show, and Dan gets on my case. I wish I could be in a hotel room, my towel and pants, listening, watching Cinemax and ordering lo mein.
The portrait of a frightened man, Mr. Paul Pabst, husband, father, dead end, has just come to the realization that he is not who he thought he once was, but now has become something else entirely. And on a day not dissimilar to this one, on a channel very similar to the one you're currently watching, the box score starts now.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Power Tower for box score.
Hello and welcome to the box score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles. They are the Danettes out in Milford, Connecticut. Guys, the show seemed to be a little bit in an alternate dimension today, as DP's good friend Tony Dungy landed in a little hot water saying he would not draft Michael Sam because of the distraction. Paulie, what were the boss's thoughts this morning as he knew he would need to tackle an issue with someone he considers so close?
I don't think the Dungy factor of being a friend really factored into Dan, because he's had to cover friends in awkward situations before. I think more so that this show is fun. It's usually fun, and today was a work day. Today was a day where you're working, you're thinking, you're not doing that all the time, but a heavier day. Imagine any job you do for a living where you know this day is going to be a little bit of a bear.
Well, we asked DP if it was tough being fair and balanced and staying neutral on the subject, or if his opinion changed at all regarding Tony Dungy in this edition of Boss's Thoughts.
Well, you try to have neutrality with it, because I'm trying to gather all this information, and you don't have the guy who said the comments, and that's where it becomes difficult. Then you start to, well, I think he meant this. And my relationship with Tony, I've always said, if you ask him a question, you get an answer. I don't know if you got the full answer there of what he was trying to say. And I think because of that, people are going to have their own agenda. They're going to factor that in. They're going to tell you what Tony Dungy meant to say. I would prefer to hear from Tony. But even if I don't agree with him, he's still somebody that I support and, I consider a great friend.
Yeah, I think it's weird, because Dan has to put it out there that they are good friends, and there's some people out there who would think closed-mindedly that, oh, he's deflecting for his buddy or covering for his buddy, not having him on. No, that's not true. We called Tony, Fritzy called Tony, Dan tried to get Tony on. We've used everything we can to get Tony on the show, and Dan is not going to take it easy on him. He's also not going to attack someone until all the facts are in, so I think Dan's doing a good job here.
Today was one of those weird situations, though, where you got the email saying, why are you throwing Tony under the bus? And then followed by an email saying, oh, sticking up for your buddy, huh? Right. And you're like, man, how are you guys listening to the same show and getting completely different reactions?
That being said, that's a pretty good sign. That fact that everyone doesn't think one thing or the other.
I don't know if this would even happen since he's a friend of the show, but Paulie, would you be upset if he went on a different show before yours?
Would I be upset? I would be completely upset. I would be personally upset at Tony Dungy if he chose to go on another show besides ours. I don't consider him a friend personally. I consider him a guy I've dealt with in professional situations a lot. But I would think that he would know that he would get a fair shake here and also get a bit of a grilling, which is what you want if you're the subject in this type of situation. I would be, as a producer, not personally upset, but professionally upset.
I don't mean to keep coming at you, Paulie, but would the negative public outlook towards Tony Dungy or any friends of the show change the frequency you would have them on?
That's a good question. I'd have to think more about that one. If somebody were tainted with something, let's say somebody got busted for something illegal, which is not at all in this case, but let's say a regular guest of our show got busted for spousal abuse. I don't think I'd be a really good friend. He wouldn't be considered a friend of the show as much as he would. We give him a fair shake, hear his side of the story, but I remember a guy, remember Jason Williams? He was a friend of the show. He was the power forward for the New Jersey Nets about a decade or so ago.
Oh, boy.
Well, he shot and killed somebody, and he ceased to be a friend of the show after that, more so because he was in prison.
But, well, yeah, I mean, if you get in trouble, well, not that Tony Dungy's in trouble, but whenever there's some kind of controversy, people tend to shut things down on their own.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily, they're not usually begging to do a bunch of interviews, and you have to turn them away like, nah, we really just don't want you right now. You know, they kind of tend to go into hiding a little bit.
That's exactly right.
Gonna lay low.
Yeah.
Well, Mark Jackson, a good friend of the show, called in and weighed in with this defense of Tony Dungy's comments.
I think Tony Dungy, Coach Dungy's record speaks for itself. He's an incredible man, an incredible leader, and I take what he said exactly what he meant. It's obvious that it was a distraction. Here's a guy that was a, I don't know, 6th, 7th round pick and had a reality show. As a team, that's a distraction. That's something that you have. I don't want, and it's not who he is or what he believes, how he lives his life. Just take it for face value. A 6th or 7th round pick that comes in and has a reality show. Believe it or not, that has an impact on your entire team.
It's funny, I put those quotes out on Twitter, and people ripped into Mark Jackson and saying that basically they said it was a homophobic comment or an anti-gay comment, and several people said that. Not everyone said that, but yeah, it kind of mirrors what Dungy said, although actually Mark Jackson had many more quotes than Tony. Tony Dungy only just said 3 lines.
Yeah, that's a big leap, distraction to being labeled homophobic.
But that leap was made by a lot of media members today. A lot of media.
Right.
Personally, I think that a lot of the media kind of jumped on the story to espouse their own political views, which happened to be in line with my political views. But I thought that there wasn't enough material, and they stretched out what Dungy said and assumed. Like, I saw a lot of, like, as we talked about headlines, Dungy wouldn't, wouldn't draft a gay player, wouldn't sign a gay player. It's not exactly what he said. And I thought, I actually saw when I put the Twitter, the same thing happened with Mark Jackson, where some people put more into the words than what he said. That's what I
kind of starts to feel like this is more like a sorry state of what the media is. And not that because this isn't a worthy story of talking about. And I think that Tony Dungy's comments should be explained further so you could get a better idea what he actually meant. But that people can take things out of context or put words in his mouth that weren't said is actually really sad, and those people should be taken to task.
One thing, when the story came out yesterday, I tried to get a hold of Ira Kaufman, and I wanted to find out if he had the actual audio of the comments, because I would love to hear the tone, the question, because sometimes people are laughing when they say something, sometimes they're serious, and sometimes you could hear an intonation that tells you a lot with audio. And this was a taped interview from a few weeks ago that I'm sure he didn't save, and he didn't, because it was a kind of a casual interview. Print reporters don't always save their handheld audio.
Yeah, you're not even positive that Tony knew it was on record. I mean, the way Ira described it, he said there was a lull in the action. Not that that's an excuse for Tony, but clearly, I think Paulie's exactly right. If we had heard it audibly, that would have made such a huge difference.
It helps. It definitely helps.
And then you wonder, as a journalist, is it his responsibility, Ira Kaufman of the Tampa Tribune, to try to say, once he hears something that could be controversial or newsworthy, does he lay back and say, well, I've got something big here and I'm just going to let the quotes lie as they are? Or does he owe it to Tony Dungy and give him an opportunity right then and there to explain it further so he wouldn't be necessarily in this position in the first place?
I think even Ira said he didn't expect it to be this big of a deal.
One person who doesn't steer away from controversy or hair, sorry Fritzy, is Chris Kluwe, and he did not hesitate to speak up on this subject.
But we have to ask ourselves, is that the kind of society we want to live in, where we are okay with wife abusers and murderers and rapists and people who commit crimes? Are we okay with those people being on our football teams and giving them a pass simply because they happen to run faster than someone else?
Well, Michael Vick paid his price, though, Chris. He went to prison.
Correct. Yeah, no, I'm not saying Michael Vick doesn't deserve redemption, but I'm just saying that people seem very, very willing to give a pass to people who have committed crimes or are willing to look past those crimes simply because those guys can run faster than someone else.
Well, I know.
And I don't think that's the sign of a healthy society.
And Chris Kluwe is an interesting guy because you don't typically find people who are willing to really put themselves out there on a big way and really sort of dropped the hammer on some people. And he paid the price for it. In my mind, there's no doubt that he's not playing because he's sort of an outspoken and controversial figure. And which is interesting because he doesn't actually do anything wrong. He's just giving his thoughts on things. And even that's toxic enough. But I give him a lot of credit. You know, he's a guy that I definitely, well, I don't want to say look up to, but certainly admire and respect a whole bunch.
He's by far your favorite punter of all time.
Yeah, easily. It's not even close.
Well, McAfee's right there. We're like,
yeah. Not Tupa or Reggie Roby? Okay, forget about it. Coming up, we will look on the bright side of things, or maybe we just take a left turn, like talk about punters. Welcome back to the Box Score. A question for the back row, Fritzy in particular. Who would you say is normally trying to look on the bright side of things in the man cave?
I'm going to say, if not myself, I would go Andrew. He's always just his mood, and we've talked about this and joked around about it over and over again over the years working with him. You know, we all have our different mood swings, as does McLovin, but he always seems to be in a positive mood, skipping through the door, smiling, generally positive. So
skipping through the door.
I would say McLovin would be looking.
Why asking Todd that? Todd has no idea what mood anybody in the room is in. He's just looking at his keyboard when I walk in and looking at his keyboard when I walk out.
Confusing being pleasant with being positive. Not the same thing.
I think we'd all agree that McLovin usually looks on the bright side of things, as he did today with such a serious topic dominating the show.
The thing that is great, and do not tell anybody this, is you notice that there's no Danette controversy, Todd has been totally left alone all show. We're totally focused on the current events. So that's good. That's why I need to keep it coming. I need controversy. I need big stories. If you're out there, athletes, say something, do something. Johnny Manziel, I'm looking at you, buddy. You know, I don't know if training camp started, but you have a couple more days to party. Just keep everyone busy and keep the focus off of the Danettes in a negative way. Yeah, I see, like Paul said that today felt like heavy lifting. For the back row, this was like water skiing. It was so, I mean, we're focused on content, stories, but I worried that we kind of exhausted the Dungy topic the first 2 hours. I'm like, uh-oh, that means that we might run out of things to say. Luckily, we had a lot of guests because when things get slow mid-June, unfortunately, usually Todd gets the first round of bullets, but then it comes to me. So we were very glad for the important story today.
It was nice to get a day off from getting.
Were you even here? Actually, I didn't even notice. Were you here the whole time?
I was.
So you consider today a day off, Todd? Did you say?
No, I agree with what McLovin has to say about the extra guest helps too, and you don't want to kind of just kind of crawl to the finish line. We went out to guns blazing on the whole Dungy topic, and you got to kind of space it out. Listeners are obviously coming in and out, and what may be exhausting to us by the third hour of the show may be fresh to a whole new set of listeners, and we got to keep that energy up, describing what we're doing.
But a big guest day makes life easier for Todd. He's not excited to book the guests. He's excited because there's no downtime to dig into whatever he's wearing or whatever.
There is less of a chance of getting crushed and humiliated sometimes.
I mean, there's always time.
Yeah, we'll find time.
Have you guys just met Paul?
Yeah, we'll make time.
I'll come in early. I'll stay late.
But by the way, I don't know why I said water skiing. I find water skiing is really difficult for me. I just cannot get up on the skis.
I'll tell you, I'll give each of you guys $50 if you let us film you water skiing.
Oh, dude.
I know that's a complete left turn, Brock, but that's all that's running through my head the past 2 minutes.
Easy like water skiing. How did I came up with that analogy?
I should have said it's easy like Sunday morning, not easy like water skiing.
Easy like water skiing.
Yeah.
Let's get Lionel Richie on it. Let's take another left turn, and let's go to a box appearance with Seton. Left turn.
Man, you have to just sort of tread lightly because there's a lot of people here. There's very sensitive groups on both sides that can be easily offended here, that you're going to find yourself in a lot of trouble should you make a misstatement or just say the wrong thing. Whoa. But Rory McIlroy won. Yeah, Open. That was pretty cool. Yankees, I think, are 4 games out, just over 500. How about that?
Yeah, I don't know if that was a combination of just being careful with what you're going to say about a sensitive topic, or loss of your train of thought, or a combination of both. But I have been there.
Oh no.
Many times.
I think that was Seton trying not to express all his own opinions, knowing that
unfortunately, the video didn't show the whole part where I was talking about, man, I've got a lot of opinions on this, but I'm keeping them to myself because I don't want to get in trouble. I think was sort of in there.
Yeah, Seton is very strong-minded, and sometimes it's difficult to, edit yourself before you let the words come out of your mouth, and realizing, someone at work whispering to his friend in a cubicle versus what we do for a living, and national radio and TV is a major difference, and I could respect him wanting to be a little careful as to.
Brock, the only thing that makes me nervous with Seton is him alone with a camera. Now, him alone with a camera and a beer, now I'm really nervous. Luckily, he didn't stop by the bar first before he went to the box, or else the whole franchise may be.
I had a lot of things today where I was like, man, I was biting my tongue a lot today, and then we'd go to break and I'd be like, what do you do? Can you believe it? And then we'd sit down and I would be quiet again. And a few times I said to Paulie, I would be like, dude, can I say this? Because sometimes I'm like, to me, what is just common sense and reality is actually maybe not to other people. I don't know, or it would get me fired. I don't know. But there were a few things, and Paulie, yeah, man, go ahead, have fun. I was like, oh boy, like there's no such thing as like censorship or anything. Like Paulie will give you enough rope, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I have to tread lightweight.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm in charge or anything, but I also think I'm a good sounding board. Like Seton has occasionally over the years said, I'm thinking about saying this, and I'll go, ew. And I only say ooh for his own self-worth. Like, I would only tell him not to say something if I thought he would lose his job. Honestly, if I would only say to him, I wouldn't say, don't say anything because you're going to get Dan in trouble, or you're going to get the brand in trouble, or DirecTV. Right. I would, they're big boys, but if I honestly thought he was going to say something that could get him where he could lose his job and his livelihood, I would say, dude, don't do it. I would really press him on it. But that's never really happened.
I know I've had a number of mock headlines that I thought was perfectly fine, or maybe just barely teetering, and then Paulie sends out a note to us before I actually share them on the air in big red print, making it very clear that that would probably not be a good idea to actually.
Not probably.
Yeah, I like when there's ones where we're like, Todd, you really thought this was okay to say? He's like, what? Yeah, I can't believe. And like everybody is just like, oh my God, dude, what are you crazy?
Sometimes you need some checks and balances for all our own good.
And just I'm not a goody two shoes. I have probably the worst mind in the room, but I have probably the best censor in the room. Like the other day, I made a joke to Seton that was off color between us.
Horrible.
I go, this is what's going through my mind. And Seton goes, oh my God.
Yeah,
I think he was shocked that I said it.
You, dude? Yeah, that was bad. But Paulie, good sounding board for sure.
Booyah.
Booyah. Hey, maybe after the break we go outside and see if the back row can water ski. No. Let's keep it safe. It's Know Your Row. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Box Score. It's fair to say today was a bit of an odd show, so we asked an even odder question. If you had to lose something, would it be your eyesight, your hearing, or a limb? It's time to play.
Know Your Row!
Let's begin in the back row. McLovin, if Fritzy had to lose something, what would he want to lose?
This is tough.
Not his right hand.
I don't think it's that tough, if you know me as you pretend to know me.
Laugh.
Whoa! What would you want to lose?
I can't give any hints, so I have to keep my mouth.
I'd say a limb.
Was it a limb?
Ooh, I'm going to have to go lose my hearing, which I kind of have already done because with all the wearing the headphones every day. But yeah, I'd like to have two legs and be able to see. I'd like to be able to hear too, but ultimately if I have to pick one of those three, losing the hearing.
Yeah, I thought McLovin would have that. The limb, I think that's the roughest of the three.
And losing your hearing wouldn't really affect how much you listen to the show.
That's right. So since I'm not really paying attention, I'm in my own little corner, my own little world here. The hearing can go, and then as long as I'm able to, ogle the girls up there in the wall of morale and be able to see the lo mein as the fork goes in and the pizza. It's hearing seems like the best way to go.
Stalking is more of a visual medium than audio.
Front row, Seton, what do you think Paulie picked?
See, this is tough because Paulie's already sort of visually impaired. So I guess hearing?
Was it his
hearing?
Hearing?
I lost a sight in my left eye when I was a year and a half old, but that's not really like losing all of your eyesight. I think I'd rather lose a limb, my left arm.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't do a lot physically anyway. So, I mean, losing a left limb, I don't know if it would change my day-to-day routine. Losing my hearing would be really tough as a radio producer. That would just about take me out of the game. Yeah, losing a limb, I mean, archery, I could get like a little stabilizer and pull back like this and still dominate.
Back to Fritzy, what did McLovin say?
Well, I know McLovin enjoys running and playing basketball, and he's a great writer, and I think he'd like to actually see the words that he's typing. You know, granted, when you're doing interviews, it'd be helpful to hear things, but I think there's easier ways around that than the other ones. I'm going to have to go. He would go losing his hearing.
Was it his hearing?
I don't want to answer this because I think it's bad luck, but I think I'm going to go limb.
What was your answer?
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Did you say hearing?
What's that? What's that?
And finally, Paulie, which did Seton choose?
Well, you would think as the audio, basically first line of defense for the show, you would think he wouldn't say hearing, but he can always find another job. You can't really find another leg or arm. So I'm going to go hearing. I'm probably wrong, but I think he's going to go hearing.
Would he do the show by closed captioning?
It's definitely not hearing. I'm not cool with that. I guess a limb. Buddy, it's like you don't know me at all.
Yeah,
it's like you don't know me at all. How in the world can I ever listen to music again if I don't have any hearing?
I wish I had a do-over because I forgot the music part.
You kidding me?
Yeah. He'd be a one-armed producer like nobody's business.
I've never felt more farther away. More farther.
Well, I'm happy to report that no one wins Know Your Row today, so congratulations all the way around.
You're the big
Coming
winner,
up,
bro.
we wrap things up with the truest test of faith.
Guys,
Like right now, who would do it if they stood right here and then they had to fall back right into our arms?
Not in a million years.
You would not do it?
Hey, not in a million years.
Would you do it?
Just print it
If you were falling, I would suggest you do it. I would not do it with you guys, no.
But if I'm part of the crew?
No, no, no. If you wanted to fall, we would catch you because you're our meal ticket.
you wouldn't do it.
But I would not I would not do it.
Welcome back to the Box Score. It's last call here at the Box Score Bar. McLovin, you seemed a little cautious and afraid to let the boys catch you if you were falling. Why is that?
Because I have a brain in my head. I mean, first of all, of course we're gonna, you know, it's a matter of time, Brock. If we play this game, at some point, one of the Danettes is gonna say, well, we need more interesting content. We need to let somebody fall. It might not be me. It might be Fritzy. It might be Seton. It might have been Paulie. We would never let Dan fall for obvious reasons. But at some point, if you play Russian roulette long enough, you're going to get shot.
For me, for humor reasons, and as McLovin said, for weight reasons, groin hernia reasons, I've got a whole list of reasons why I'm not ready to just like throw myself back. And I'm sure they're very thrilled to hear that I wouldn't want to participate.
I think the people down at Subway are thrilled because who knows if the floor would even hold you.
Nice.
Wow.
What, Andrew?
See what they did to you?
I'm shocked.
No, but you're muscular.
Yeah, that's what you
And that, yeah, muscle's heavier than...
The punch in the arm is all back together.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
Just when I got through the day without a shot.
Hell no, dude.
Oh, come on.
You need to time it when someone asks to put a Fritzy on the sandwich, then you fall through the ceiling. Paulie, you gave it a shot. I mean, what were you thinking when you fell back?
Well, I was actually thinking, I trust them personally, but I don't trust them necessarily physically and coordinated effort. Like when I was watching those baseball players, it seemed like they'd done it a lot of times. There were 6 major league players, and they're all stronger than our strongest guy. I was more concerned, and then I looked back, I saw McLovin go, I'm out of here. And what if the timing of Dan saying 1, 2, 3 and McLovin saying I'm out of here didn't mesh? I personally trust them, but physically I was iffy. And what's funny was I fell back like 4 inches before somebody put their arm in my back and didn't let me fall any further.
No way.
Well, the boss may let you escape it, McLovin, but we're not so nice here in the Box Score. So how about everybody stand up And in a true test of faith, we'll have one guy stand on the chair, and then the rest of you try to catch him. Paulie, you already went, so you're off the hook. How about let's start with Seton.
Ooh, this is three guys catching.
What are you, crazy? You think if I wouldn't do it on the Dan Patrick Show? I said not in a million years, but I'm just saving it for the box score to have these idiots let me fall on my head? Hell no, I'm not doing it. No way.
Are you hiding?
What? You know what happened at the end? Okay, we did Paulie's segment, right? He fell back 4 inches, and we all caught him and put him down, and everybody was like, wow, that sucked. We should have let him fall. So what do you think's going to happen now? Hell no, dude. Not in a million years. Times 2.
I don't know where McLovin went.
McLovin, pretty please. What did he go? Is he?
He's under the desk right now.
He's not doing this. No way.
Fritzy, who is on tomorrow?
I trust that.
Saints quarterback Drew Brees will be with us, and a special in-studio appearance by former REM bassist Mike Mills.
Bassist.
Oh,
losing his religion
we're all
right here.
losing our religion today. Thanks for watching the box score. Set your DVR or tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching the box score. Holy cow!